Hey everyone, this is Robin with Robin's Woodshop. We're here to look at another kayak. It's my co-worker Mike Sparkman. I used to work with him at the steel mill. He's got a kayak that's very different than anything we've looked at so far. So I'm going to let him take over and just kind of show us from front to back what all about this kayak.
So this is what they call a Mokai. They're produced up in upstate New York. They're kind of unique. So they're made to where I could take it apart. It comes in 3 different pieces here. I could take the nose cone off. I can take the back engine compartment off, and I can take the engine out of it. And it's all done fairly quickly. It runs off of a it's got a 9.5 horse Kohler motor in it, and it's electric start. Even though the starter on this one's out, so I pull start it now. But okay. It's I mean it's fairly simple. It's what they consider a jet boat. It's a 9.5 horse, and it's a jet boat, so it'll go pretty much in like anywhere between 6 inches to a foot of water without it like bogging down. Sometimes if you get in, say with the leaves and stuff right now, I could get that sucked up in a pump, and it kind of hurts the speed a little bit. But it goes anywhere between 18 to 20 mile an hour, and sometimes a little faster, a little slower, just depending on water conditions. So, and this is my boy.
Okay.
So, all right.
And your dog.
And the dog. All right, so like this here is pretty much one of the main. This is the pump. So the pump will slide in, and you got your wear ring on the back end of it. Gotta make sure I get the lock collar on the right side. And pretty much that's, you get this on, and then your pump is where it needs to be.
Ow.
And you hook your...
I put my eyes in.
So and then that's your steering there. So it's got a stick steer.
Yeah. All right.
So and the one thing about these is you'll see this name on the back of it. There's a guy, he does a lot of aftermarket stuff for these. So these here don't come with a, they're normally, there's no way to, once you start it, there's no way to stop it. So he come up with this clutch deal, and this clutch will only engage once you get it to a certain RPM. So pretty much that's a neutral. So he pretty much made a neutral for this kayak. So he sells quite a bit of those, and it works pretty good.
Cool. So, but you said you can take the front and the back off?
Yeah. So
and just use it like that? Like paddle it, you mean? Or?
Well, I mean, I can paddle it. Just say if something happens to if something happens to the motor, I can still paddle it. It's a little heavier to paddle than a regular kayak, but like for transportation, just say if I wanted to put this in your car, I could sit there and get this in a small pickup truck without having to have a trailer or anything like that.
I get it. So
you got, a 5/8 wrench, and you could take like this nose cone. I could show you, you could take it off. So the nose cone will come off, and then the back engine compartment and that engine will come out of there. And it's literally, this is one boat, that's 2 boats, and then the engine will come out. So this comes out, will come off here, and then so that's one piece of it. And I can take, there's there's the 2 up top here and 2 on the bottom. I take these 4 out, and then this back will come off.
Okay.
And so the clutch, you can sit there and you can see So you see how how it's not running right now? That's kind of a neutral. That's because it's not up to a certain RPM. So that's what, if you don't have that clutch,
Okay.
you're going all the time. So once you start it, you're going.
Okay. And when you buy it, it just comes. It's running all the time.
Yeah. So when you buy it, it'll be completely stock. Which I've got the pump upgrade through Painless Tom, and I got the clutch. And there's some other things that you can get. And then this here is like just a regular kayak console, and I put that in there myself just to have stuff to to put my own stuff.
Yeah.
And I ended up adding the navigational lights. I added because I like to go fishing, do some night fishing and stuff like that. So I added a lot of the extra stuff with the lights, and then one thing, the bilge pump. And other than that, I haven't had any problems out of it, besides, if you notice where this melted back here, the muffler, this fell off.
Oh, okay.
And it sat there and shot the exhaust straight back instead of directing it up and out, and it got that a little too hot. And I just haven't went in and completely repaired this to.
Yep. Okay. Huh.
But
the pump. What's the pump do?
So the pump, it'll like, you can look in the back here, and you see the grating. So it'll pull the water up, and then it pushes it out, and then that's what propels you.
Oh, okay. So you had
So you've got your motor here, which turns your gearbox, and that gearbox turns that shaft of that pump, and that's what creates your.
Is that kind of like a jet ski?
It's exactly like a jet ski, except it's a little bit smaller scale.
Okay. Huh.
So.
All right. Pretty sturdy.
Yeah. So I actually like it a little better than being on like a John boat or something, just because, like, once you get out on the water, you're kind of tucked into it, and I've never once felt like it was ever going to tip over or anything like that. There's only been a few times where the waves have been really rough that I didn't like being out there with it. Now that affects my speed quite a bit when it's rough, but other than that, it's pretty stable.
You did tell me you got dumped one time, right?
Not on this one. In my sit-on kayak, I got dumped.
Oh, okay.
So the little tour boat got me there, but but with this one here, I've never had an issue with getting dumped. I've had it to where the waves have been really really rough, and they come over the back and go down here. And if I didn't have the add-on bilge pump, I probably would have been paddling for a while, just because it fills up with water pretty quick if the waves are rough.
Okay. And what's the name of it again?
So it's a Mokai, and they're made in upstate New York. And I think when I bought this new, it was around $5,300. I mean, I like it. It just, now when you go to order one, it'll say it'll take 6 weeks, but it took me a little over 6 months. And that's the main complaint about about them, is they take a lot longer than promised. When you go to order one, they'll say 6 weeks, and it tends to be a little longer. But
when did you get it?
So I've had this for about a year and a half.
Okay, so COVID didn't have anything to do with it.
No. But a lot of it, I think, is these like your pumps and your the gearbox and stuff. They're special made. They're not, nothing's this is like a one-off deal. So that's the bad thing about these. If this was to tear up, you've got only one place that can fix it. Now the motor itself is a standard 9.5 horse Kohler. So if something happens to the motor, I could change it. But the gearbox and the pump, and then the boat itself is kind of one-off. But with the boat, you know, it's plastic. You can repair it if need be. So.
Anything special about the opening there?
No. And so, there's another guy that he actually will take and transform this into a gas tank.
Oh.
And there's been a few people that do that. That way, it gets your weight on the front end of it. It gets you on plane easier. I just like taking my anchor and I'll set it up top there, and I'll let it be up there so I can get on plane. How
much gas does it hold?
It holds, I think it's 4 gallons. I think.
Is that just unleaded, or is that
yeah,
2-cycle?
So it's here's the fuel tank, and I did put a gas gauge in it. So that's something that doesn't come standard, but
nice to know.
Yeah, it's 4 gallons, and which I was kind of leery because I didn't know how far I could go, but you've got a fuel range of probably 60 miles ish. You know, depends on where you're going and how rough the river is and how fast it's moving. Yeah. Like right now, it's kind of flat calm. Yep. I could probably get 20 mile an hour easy on it. So
okay.
And then the only other thing that with the fuel, I don't remember what I was going to say now. But
what do you know about lighting on a kayak in night? What's required? Do you know anything?
So just any type of I know, like motor vessel, you got to have your navigational lights, which are green, red, and then your white backlight is what's required. Now, I'm not for sure on on anything different, like a paddle or something. Yeah. But I would still like to have your navigational lights.
Yep.
That way, you could tell which side's the right side, which side's the left side, and especially the barges. If you got this, they won't bother you.
Yeah.
Because sometimes they like to shine their lights on you, but
I've been going out early in the morning trying to catch some fog at a particular location, and so I was kind of worried about the barges. I keep an eye out for them, but then again, I thought, well, barges probably aren't going to be moving in a thick fog.
So sometimes they do, sometimes they don't. I've actually I went out one morning in this, and it was kind of a little foggy, and instead of going this way, I went that way, and then when I came back, there was a barge probably 100 yards tucked in. If I would have went that way, I would have ran right inside of it.
So I've seen them tucked in where I wanted to go, and I'm like, I got to make sure that I kept an eye out behind me. I didn't want to get run over.
Yeah, they're normally there's always barges. There's a lot of barges that come up through here.
Yeah.
But this side, there's a water hazard up here where they have to stay on the Indiana side, or else it'll they'll run aground probably at least, and it goes like 50 foot out. So
okay,
I'm gonna swing around.
Okay.
I normally wear waders when I do this.
Well, it is pretty slick. All right. What's the dog's name?
Blue.
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 All right. Well, Mike, I appreciate it. Thank you very much.
Yep. Not a problem.
Again, this is Robin with Robin's Woodshop. Just trying to learn all about kayaks and different types. So appreciate Mike for spending the afternoon with us and giving us insight on his kayak. Thank you all.